Okay, so it's going really good so far, and let's move on. And in this video, we'll be talking about the sign up. Okay, so we have almost done, and notice we have left a to do there. So let's go and call up a method or trigger a method when somebody clicks on this sign up button as well. So I'll just copy the things and I'll be pasting them. So this is login, and this is not gonna be login. This is gonna be sign up. Looks good. What we'll be doing, I think you should pause me in here and do things quickly before me. Okay, I hope you got the hint there. What we'll be doing is, first of all, we'll be binding this function. This is pretty common now, and you must be pro in that by now. Okay, there we go, this, and there we go. One thing is done. It's gonna complain, obviously. Why? Can you give me the reason? Yep, you can. So login is there. Now make sure you just get out of this login completely. Click on this cursor here and it's gonna say, hey, this is where it's ending, and just go in here below there. And we are gonna simply say sign up. Let me just remove that. The reason why I do a lot of copy pasting in here, I don't want to make a typo in here. Okay, so sign up is there. Now what the sign up should be doing? Now obviously sign up should take the email and the password. Let me save that. Email and the password field, and somebody clicks on the sign up. It should trigger the method and it should take the email and password, go to the Firebase, and should create a new user. Okay, sounds simple. Now how we can get the email and password? This is how we get the email and password. So we'll be copying and pasting till the auth, because this is already being a tested code. We don't need to retest it. It has already proven itself that I can grab email and password and I can do a Firebase auth as well. Okay, that looks good. Now again, we'll be querying something to the auth. So we'll be saying auth dot, and when we say auth dot, now we don't want to sign in. We want to create a user. So that's the method. It says create user with email and password. There we go. And obviously it's gonna take email and the password in there, and obviously again it's gonna return a promise. So we are gonna simply say, we can use a const there. That's much more good practice there. And that is gonna say promise, and we are gonna store everything into a promise. Looks good so far. Now, just like we have handled the promise in here, we are going to handle the promise in here as well. So we're going to simply say promise. And now I'm going to show you something which you might have seen for the first time. So let me just show you. So you can write promise dot then just like this, and you can then catch the error. This is kind of a syntax that is being followed up, but you will not see anybody doing things like that. And what I'm doing right now is almost exactly the same. This is just a line break that I'm doing, and this is a common practice because it's much more readable. So as soon as you see the promise, everybody hits enter there, a line break. And in the then, and always then comes first, in the then you handle what's good thing is happening there, and in the catch you always handle the errors there. Okay, so let's assume that everything is going good so far, and obviously we haven't authenticated that the email is in the correct form or is a valid email, and we haven't also checked whether the password is good. But a few things will automatically be checked up because we have given it to the email field. Automatically it is going to be an email, and obviously it's going to be a password, so automatically the Firebase checks whether it's more than 6 characters or not. And if the user is successfully created, then in the then we'll get a user field. Now I'll for sure show you what comes up in the user field, but that is good. Okay, and let me close it as well. Okay, and now we are gonna change our error message there, and we are gonna simply say something like welcome, and then we are gonna add or concatenate this with user.email. Now user actually gives you or throws you back a lot of things, and in the meantime I'm going to show you that as well. But obviously, as if we have successfully done that and we have changed the error message, then it always makes a good sense to make an entry of that user in the database as well. Okay, so we're going to simply say firebase.database, and in fact we have done this in the previous project as well, so you should be good with that. So .ref, and in the reference we're going to create a new object there, a massive object. So it will be just below this survey guy. Let me just show you that database. So we have already got a usurvey from the new project, but we'll be creating a new node there that will be user or users, makes much more sense. And now the problem is we don't have UUID that we have used in the last project, this guy. And the good news is you don't need UUID because now you're using authentication, and you can simply say user.uid. Firebase automatically generates the UID for you. And we're going to just set one field in here. So let me just go into that, and we'll be creating one object there. Let me just close this guy and go inside there. And we'll be setting just email there. And how we can access the email, so it makes much more sense if we just do user.email. By the way, we can just get our email from here as well, but I think it makes much more sense to get it in from here. Okay, that is good. And I think this makes a lot of good sense in here. Oh, by the way, I forgot you to show that what comes up in the user. So let's just log that, and that would be user. And let's just set the state for this guy if we have successfully done a login there. So we'll be saying something like this dot set state, and set state should be doing error and error. Okay, too much of the error. I should have named that as message or something, but let's just leave that in here. And I don't want to leave another to do there because I simply want to just fill out the things with the catch as well. So we have done a dot then as well, in case I have actually closed it in here. So that is why I have to do it again. I have to say promise, and I'll hit enter there. And I'll be simply saying dot catch. By the way, if you haven't given this a colon, you could have just skipped this much of the code. Okay. And again, this is going to be easy. It's going to return us an error. And in the error, we're going to simply say, hey, what you need to do is a callback function. So just call it there, and we'll close it there as well. So the first thing in the error we are going to do is error. We're going to set that to the e dot message there. There we go. Good so far. And we are going to just set the state. Let's just log the error as well. It's a good idea. And we're going to simply say error. So we are logging it. We are logging quite a lot of things in here, and that is actually a good practice. So this dot set state, and make sure you just delete all those console log before you move your application to the production stage. Okay, so there we go, and we're going to set the state to error colon error. Okay, so we have dealt up with the sign up completely there. Okay, and now is the time to test the things. And whenever I test the things, I always look that it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work because obviously somehow you make the mistake. With this mentality, you can go quite along. So super@superman.com, and let's just try with super cool password. I'll be doing a quick login. Obviously it should give us an error. That's good. Just testing that we haven't broke the previous written code. Now I'll do a quick sign up, and it's again got the things. It's taking a bit because it's just contacting the Firebase and everything, and we should wait for a couple of seconds there. Okay, and there we go. It took a little bit while, but it says welcome super@superman.com. But the interesting part goes in the console log. So this is the object, which is the user that is being sent back to us, and notice it says email is there. Okay, so .email is being accessed. .email verified is false because we haven't sent a link to the email, and based on the click of that, we haven't done that much of the things. We also get us things like photo, URL in case the photo is there, and a lot of other things like refresh token. And one thing that is important is UID, that is also being accessed in here. So a lot of interesting information is coming up in here. So now our email is super@superman.com, and password is supercool.com. Looks good. Now the user is signed in. Let's go in the console, and there we go. We can see we forgot to do one thing that is really bad, and that is we forgot to write. We actually did a slash wrong there, so the slash should be there so that things can go inside in it. Very. So as I told you at the first thing, I don't expect my things to work perfectly. It's a good example there. So let's just delete this entry there. And there we go. We need to delete the entry in the authentication as well because it has already created a user. I want to use the Superman again. So let's just go click on that and delete this account. And everything is good. Now let's go back in here. And again, if I try to log in now, it's going to throw us an error that there is no record. And if I just click on, let's just clear the console. Let's click on the sign up there and super@superman.com and super cool and welcome super@superman.com. Okay. Let's go to the Firebase console and it need a quick refresh, I guess. Yep, there we go. And notice it says provider is email, created on this, signed in on this, user ID is there. You can copy the UID in case you need that. And let's go to the database. And this time we have again done a mess there because I forgot to save this. My bad, really. I'm really too much sorry for that. I forgot to save this and our application just worked like before. That is, you might be yelling at me right now, but again, don't worry. These things do happen. Okay, now application I've saved. Refreshed super@superman.com and we're going to use super cool password. And no, I'm not going to be logging in this time. I'll directly click on the sign up and there we go. Welcome super@superman.com. This time, for God's sake, I'm expecting not to make a mess there. And there we go. Finally, we got a new node there. And inside the node, we got a UID, which is unique to the user itself. And there we go. Looks pretty good, pretty handsome. But there is still one problem in our app. Now, the user is good. If I click on the login, nothing happens. Why? Can you give me the reason? Because we left a nice to do there. We are not handling the login promise. We are just handling the login errors, but we are not handling the logins there. Also, this logout is just a fancy button. We are not doing anything in here. So I think in the next video, we will be working on handling the login first, and then we will move on to the logout. So in the next video, let's write some code in here, and I will catch you up in the next video again.